What is going on, lunatics? We got breaking news hot off the press. Kwon is due in court. He's going to change his plea. It looks like, this is the inside rumor, that he's going to change his plea to guilty, which is going to change dynamically what's going to happen. I'm going to break this down for you, how this is going to affect Terra Luna Classic. Will it affect Terra Luna Classic? We don't really know, but once we get to the end of whatever's going on here, however this lawsuit is going to play out, then we can move forward and really begin a healing process that we really have not had yet. Now, Kwon's in the clear in the United States. Then guess what? That would mean that time served, whatever the case may be. We don't know what it is yet, but we have some clarity about what really the issues are for the SEC. So let's break it down. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. New side panel, who dis? Okay, so first of all, Kwon might be pleading guilty. The eyes of legal authorities are back on the Terra Luna fiasco, and it looks like Kwon has something to say, according to a fresh report by Bloomberg. And this is it. The court has been advised that the defendant may enter a change of plea. The court schedules a conference August 12th, 10:30 a.m., which is going to happen in about an hour. Kwon will be in court in about an hour, and we'll have some clarity as to what is going on there. Now, in accordance with Section B, the court's individual rules, but here's the important part, right? The SEC civil case claimed that Terraform Labs representatives misled investors by claiming that Chai, a popular Korean payment processor, was actively using Terra Luna's blockchain, but that never actually happened. Also, the juror claims that the UST stablecoin was not even algorithmically pegged to $1, but rather controlled. Now, what does all of that mean? Well, if he's found guilty of those, that's going to be a level of fraud. Most likely the SEC is going to accept this change to a guilty plea, and then they're going to ask for time served. That's the interesting part here, and that's why this is potentially a great thing. It's not good on the surface. On the surface, this looks kind of bad. So we do have to recognize that, but at the same time, there could be a path forward here that we didn't previously see for Kwon to get free and clear of whatever's going on. Maybe the SEC has said, look, take your time served, take your penalty. We will not prevent you from doing any business in certain regions or in the United States in some way. Once you've entered that guilty plea, then you're going to be done. Or maybe we're not coming after the money, or we don't care what you build. Don't know yet. We're going to find out very, very shortly exactly what's going to happen. Now, with that being the case, make sure you sign up for terracasino.io. Do it today. Again, we're going to be giving money away on the live streams over the next couple of days. A great opportunity for you. And if you're trading utility coins or meme coins on the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, then teraport.finance is your place to go. Make sure that you try it out today. And if you want to buy the Believe meme coin, that's mine. If you want to buy the Believe meme coin, or go to terapump.fun, that certainly does help me in a lot of different ways. So if you would, go check it out. Okay, so we're going to cover price here real quick. Last 7 days, not been great. Garuda X up 14%, but that's really the only one that's shining in increase for a while. And why is that the case? Well, let me learn you something here, baby bird. I'm about to feed you. So here's what's going on in the market. We're up about 60 billion overall on the day, and we're also up a little bit, about 2%. In our pump today, and USTC is up 6.5%. So we're getting some movement out of the charts. Not great movement, by the way. This is not, we've been higher 4 days ago. So we're not breaking out. We're not making any kind of radical or big move, but, and that's a mighty big but, Ethereum is now over 4,400. Ethereum has finally broken out. We're 10% over the previous top here of 4,000. We are headed almost to blow-off zone. Okay, this is where what we're looking for in order for Luna Classic to run, in order for everything to run, we need Ethereum to break out, because Ethereum is where the altcoin money is. And I hope this makes perfect sense to you. Ethereum is where people go for DeFi. That's where they go for the leader of altcoins. And because that is the leader of altcoins, when it breaks out, the rest of the market breaks out. So what we're looking for is we're looking for a massive move from Ethereum. Now, look, I said 6,000. It could go as high as 8 or 9,000. Look, there's a lot of room to grow for Ethereum. However, the important part is wherever it sticks the landing, no matter whether it pops up here or whether it pops up here, it's going to be a huge amount of profit that people are going to have made, and they are going to start buying more risk assets. The price is going to come back down into that 5,000 range. Again, if it breaks out, could be lower, but the idea and the thesis is going to hold up that once we've finished our big move with Ethereum, my brothers, it is altcoin season, okay? And we're not seeing the absolute breakout on everything yet, so we know that it's not actually here. But the fact that Ethereum is starting to move aggressively is a great sign that it's coming. And remember, Ethereum staking is coming to the SEC ETFs very, very soon. And once that happens, then basically it is my opinion that the absolute floodgates are going to open. So this is why I'm excited today. How does that apply to Terra Luna Classic? Well, again, everything has layers. There's layers to this shit, okay? There's, I'm just going to use this as a basic form here, but there's Bitcoin right up there at the top. Then there's Ethereum. Those are those mid caps, or I mean, sorry, those are the large caps. There's Ethereum. There's, you know, XRP, Cardano. There's the bigs, right? Then there's the mid caps down here. Then there's the micro caps, and then there's like the meme coins, right? We are right here. Now, before anything happens, we're going to go back up here into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to run one more time because that's where the absolute capital comes from. Then it's going to come down into Ethereum one more time because Ethereum is about to dip, in my opinion, after this surge for Bitcoin, not for altcoin season. Then it's going to come back down here, and that's when we're going to see the real rip on Ethereum, and then that's when the cascade of money starts to happen, and it's going to flow down like a waterfall. And I know I draw like a baby here, but you get my point. I think you get my point here. We're almost there. We're going to be in that mid cap range, and we're going to be in that low cap range. The reason for both of them is going to be because we're going to be in that secondary tier where people are going to be like, you know what, let me take a shot on Terra Luna Classic and see what's happening here. Can't get any lower. I see that people are building on the chain. I see that there's a revival happening. I'm going to put some risk on that. But then you're going to get into the degen area where people are going to just be like, you know what, I love a comeback story. I told you guys, people love a comeback story. And when we throw out some comeback story, we throw out market module is now up and operational, and it's effectively burning again, even if it's not a large burn, a burn. And then we're going to reduce the tax, or at least I think we have reason to reduce the tax to 0.5%, something like that, so that we encourage people to get back on the chain and start to build. And then we let the market module do the burning instead, you know, like grown-ups should. You know, we shouldn't have a tax to burn. Like we're stranded and we're stuck. And we need some of that burn to happen. So once we get our bearings a little bit, then guess what? Now we've got some growth potential. The growth potential leads to a pump potential in that lower cap. And that means that the price could rocket even higher because you're getting those extra layers. And then when you get to meme coins and you have that little blow off in meme coins, probably going to apply to Luna Classic too. Why? terapump.fun. Guys, it's simple. I think we got a long way to go. We're not exactly there yet where we're going to see an appreciable pump. Now, we could, out of nowhere, just see a 1 or 2 or 3x. I'm still going to give you that thesis right there and tell you, you know, I think we're going to have a nice little breakout. And by the way, when I look at the chart, when I see where the, you know, where I see where the puck is headed, as Tony Edwards would say, right there on that line right there at about 301617, like that really looks to me like the right sort of spot. There's so much volume there. There's so much trading going on there. There's so much interest in either protecting or defending that. I think that's going to be ultimately a 3x, you know, bam, like that. And then from there, and by the way, that means it's going to break out of this line here, and we're going to be looking at something a little bit different. We're just going to we're going to change the narrative just a little bit. Then that's when we start to look at, you know, big moves. But first of all, we got to get through this first portion right here, and that's going to take a little bit more time as Ethereum cooks a little bit, and then the altcoin season will start to flood. We'll start to see it building up. We'll start to see the speculative assets start to move, okay? That's what we're looking for. Now, yesterday we ended up burning 471 million tokens right there. Today, we're already up to 110. So there's a lot going on. Now, that's not huge, but it's pretty significant. It's pretty big. And when you look at the burn tracker, you're disappointed because you want to see 2 billion. at least weekly. But 700 million, look, if I can get 700 million per week, that's 3 billion a month. That's not going to do much. It's not going to do much, but it is a pretty good indicator. Now, the reason that I'm wondering is what we need is more volume, and that's what really comes down to, right? Do Kwon's in the news again. We're going to see what happens in the next hour or two. Guys, listen, if there's closure to Do Kwon's issues, if there's real closure to it, we're gonna start to run, okay? Because it's remember, it's not about whether he's guilty. It's not about whether he's innocent. None of that matters. You know what matters? What matters is the closure. The market wants to know that there's no more coming after, if you will. There's no more attacking, if you will. They're going to be finished with Do Kwon, and then that will allow him to either build or move on or whatever, but it will provide closure and clarity for everyone and everything. And because it's in the news and because it's done, you're going to see a move. And I'm going to show you an example of this, and you might not like it, okay, by the way, but I'm going to show you what closure looks like when you are done with your lawsuit, okay? There it is right there, okay? This is XRP. When that lawsuit was done, which, by the way, it's closed as of today because they dropped the appeals. But when it happened, when there was some full disclosure, when the Trump administration came in, when you knew what was going on in the elections, when you knew that the XRP lawsuit was over, it went from 50 cents to $3.36. That's a 6x. And what have I been telling you all this time? I'm telling you 3x to 6x is your range, because if you do all of the math on that, that means that you go back to that all-time high or very close to that all-time high. If I were to give you 6x from where we are right now, then you're going to be at or near where our previous all-time high after the collapse. So it would stand to reason that when you see positive information come out about the closure of the case, people are going to take some interest. Now, because I think Do Kwon is guilty and because it's going to be closure but not victory, then we need to look at the bottom end of this range and say about the $2 range is about a 3x. There's your 3x, okay? That's what I think is getting ready to happen. So I don't know for sure, but I think, right? So that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. If you have not already, subscribe to my channel. It helps me out tremendously. It keeps me in business, if you will, and providing you with this content every day. Thank you so much. It's not financial advice. Always right.